Right, yeah, no, it's well, thanks for having me first off, but looking forward to being out here for 4 more years.
Oh, your agent calls. He says, "Here's what they're offering," and your response is what?
I wish it was that easy. There's so much
That's
more.
not how it works. It's not just one phone
not
call.
quite,
Yes.
Not quite. There's a lot of going back and forth. Shoot, first of all, it's like, hey, do they even want to pursue a contract with me? Because I was restricted, right? So they have the option to tender me, which is a 1-year deal for undrafted free agents, and they showed interest that they wanted to actually get me long term and extend me. So showed the love they have for me in the locker room and on the field. So I was glad that we had come to an agreement for something long term.
Austin, you knew that they were going to do that.
Not
come on.
necessarily. Shoot, we don't know. It's hard. There's a lot of distance between us. Like it comes down to like what's the situation with Melvin, and then are we going to try to draft somebody, or like there's so many different factors that play into the situation. We're really distant from what the decision is actually going to be. So,
all right, so let's talk about your journey, because you took the unusual way of getting to the National Football League, right? I mean, you didn't go to the combine, you weren't drafted, small college. It's called Western College now, right?
Western Colorado.
Western Colorado.
University.
But it was Western
TD.
State when you were there.
Yeah.
And then you go to play for the Chargers, and talk about the first couple of days you were there, because they didn't know who you were,
right.
And you were trying to find a way to stand out.
It's kind of funny because you were saying no one knew who I was. It was after I made the team, we had our first meeting after our first practice, and Anthony Lynn gets up there, our head coach.
My ex teammate, by the way, my backfield mate. Go ahead.
All right, your backfield mate.
I thought we were going to say my backup, but
no.
backfield mate.
Backfield mate, yeah.
All right. Anyway, but he gets up there. He's like, I didn't even know who this guy was until now. He didn't even know my name, the entire time. And I'd been talking to him. He's always watching the running backs, and I just had number 3. I was just number 3 to him.
You had number 3?
I had number. Yeah.
So the number 3.
So number 3, you probably ain't making the team.
Yeah, number 3. You rocking number 3. That tells you that
you got to work hard.
You just can't bait.
Right. Well,
you're not gonna make the
thing
squad.
is, the reason that's like that, because you can't even wear number 3 as a running back.
Exactly.
So it's like if you make the team, you got to switch your number. So it's like, you probably not making it.
You got a good number, by the way. You switched it really
yeah, pretty good one.
Yeah, not bad.
I like it. Looks good.
Looks good on you.
Well, and now they definitely know who you are, and your contract proves that. You have spent the majority of your career with Melvin Gordon, who was already mentioned, in the backfield. Do you anticipate that continuing next year, that he'll be back with you guys? Or
as far as it looks right now, like I honestly could say I do not know, but as far as the situation they assigned me, I feel like they're probably not going to be able to come to an agreement as far as what he's going to be asking. I think it's more of the same situation that they might have been facing in the beginning of the season, and just really not getting anything done as far as the contract-wise. So I would say no right now, but that's all speculation. I have no idea. He might be in the room. We might be tearing it up again next year.
Do you feel any more pressure than you have before?
I feel like the pressure would be more so if I was the guy. They're like, hey, you're the starter now, because it's like there's a stigma around that, and now all the eyes are on you. Whereas before last year, it was kind of my first time in the spotlight. Everyone's like, let's kind of feel him out. How's he going to do? Like he's had success in the past, but now he's starting, getting most of the reps. And then, I kind of had some success under the radar and kind of amplified that. And then by the end of the season, I was like, everyone was game planning for number 30's over here.
It's a different world then.
Right. He's over here. Everyone would be pointing me out in the field. It was great.
Austin,
but
I don't know that it was under the radar, though. As someone who plays fantasy, that was very, very much everything you were doing was on the radar.
Yeah, well, there was a whole bunch of just, should I bring him back? Melvin's going to come back. He's been a backup in the past, so, I don't get the main reps. So it's like, maybe start him, maybe not. And it just came down to I had like 30-something points in the first game for fantasy. I don't play fantasy, but just people. People like coming out, that's where fantasy really opened my eyes. Like, wow, this is great. People know me for fantasy.
At the grocery store, they're like, you won for me.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the biggest thing.
It's a big connection between
They get more upset about your fantasy team than they do you guys losing.
Right.
So, no Phillip Rivers next year. Obviously, there are questions about who will be your quarterback. There's a pretty high-profile one who has been mentioned, who I think is right over your shoulder, actually. That shot could line up nicely.
Would you
like to play with Tom Brady?
I think it would be amazing to play with Tom Brady. I feel like I've been playing with Phillip, and he's like the GOAT, and been in the Chargers situation or organization for so long that he's kind of the legend there. And you have Tom Brady, who's on the other side of the country. He's the legend over there. So if I got to play with them, it'd be an amazing opportunity. I feel like I would have been able to play with two GOATs, of our century.
Do you want to pitch? I mean, you're coming back to the Chargers. They're going to try to make a pitch. I don't think that it's tampering if you try and persuade him to come to Los Angeles. Why should he?
Well, the only thing here's why I think it would be a good fit.
Okay.
We just lost a lot of leadership in Phillip Rivers, right? So that's like, all right, there's a void there. Now let's bring also Russell Orkun, one of our tackles.
That's right, got traded.
Yeah, got traded. He was one of our team leaders as well. So there's some void in leadership right there, and it's an opportunity for people to step up. But if you bring a guy like Tom Brady in the room, he's been there, done that. He's already got the leadership qualities, and he's already proved that he's a winner. So hey, we can build something around
Austin,
that too.
That's why you need him. Why does he need you?
It sounds like you really want him coming out here.
I might.
You really want him to
I
come
might
out
have
here.
been pitching this
Would be nice.
times under
Would be great to have
little
Brady.
access.
Maybe I should be asking you that.
But you guys have the offensive weapons, right?
Right, that's
like
exactly
you plug
why.
him in
Yeah.
with Keenan Allen and you and the defense, Derwin James and some of those pieces. Do you think you could make a run if he was a guy?
I feel like we have the pieces to make a run regardless, who that is. I feel like that void is there, but it's going to be filled by somebody, but we just have the talent around him to whoever that person is to make them successful and make it a little bit easier on them, whether it's running the ball or passing the ball. So I'm excited to see whoever it is.
Love it, love it.
It's good.
Austin Ekeler here in Los Angeles.
Appreciate it,
for
man.
a
Nice
while.
shirt, by the way.
Congratulations on the new
appreciate it.
contract. Thank you so much for stopping in with us. So he is obviously going to enjoy free agency without the stress. A few guys here who won't be able to do that. These are the running backs who are set to hit the market next week. We already mentioned one of them in Gordon, also Derrick Henry, a future Hall of Famer in Frank Gore. He said that he's coming back for year 16. He's also been working out this offseason with LaShawn McCoy, who's also looking for a new home. Where might that be? TD has left us, and he has joined D'Angelo Hall.
That's right.
What's going on,
That's
TD?
right.
TD, tell me what you think, man. We got some running backs about to hit free agency. Give me the best fit for some of these guys. Let's start with Melvin Gordon right here.
All right, let's do that. The best fit for Melvin Gordon, in my opinion, would be the Buffalo Bills. You're talking about the 8th-ranked rushing team last year. Remember, Frank Gore, free agent, may not be there. You team him up with Devin Singletary, that backfield they have. That man is used to running in the snow. He played in Wisconsin, man, so up in Buffalo. To me, that's the perfect fit right there for what they want to do. Grind you out, have Josh Allen do his thing, but Melvin Gordon with the Buffalo Bills.
I like that. He's
like
a
that?
volume back, too. He needs
Exactly.
carries, and so
They
he's
need
going to
that
get
weight.
a lot of carries in Buffalo. Let's move along to the next guy. Tell me about Derrick Henry. Where do you see this massive man going?
All right, so here's the deal. So where he is the perfect fit, right? In Tennessee. Last year, he had career highs in attempts, rushing yards, touchdowns. He fits that system so well in what they want to do. But my dream would be, if I could have him any other place, the Seattle Seahawks, man. They two backs in Seattle are hurt. Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, those two guys might be questionable before the season starts. Imagine that man with Russell Wilson in the backfield, what they like to do, the play action. That would be a lethal.
Tennessee better not let that man go
No, he ain't going
nowhere.
nowhere. He's going to stay there. That's
Let's
the
see
best
this
fit.
next guy, Frank Gore. Where do
Yeah.
you see him going, man? The
All right.
future Hall of Famer.
So here's the deal with Frank Gore. So Frank is going to return back to the Baltimore Ravens. A few reasons why. Number one, his old OC, Greg Roman, is there. Remember when he was in San Francisco?
Yep.
4 years straight, over 1,000 yards. And they've got a ton of backs, but they run the ball so much, they need that depth right there. You got him with Mark Ingram doing the thing. You have Gus Edwards there doing his thing. And then you have Justice Hill. But Frank Gore is going somewhere where he can finally win that Super Bowl. And the team that runs the ball as much as they do, Frank Gore to the Baltimore Ravens. You like that one?
Well, you heard it right here.
Like
You heard
that one?
TD say the Ravens going to win the Super Bowl. He snuck that
I
in
said
there, too.
somewhere where
Because he
he's
said Frank going to get him
Best
one.
chance to win.
Herbert, he has a 96 athleticism score out of 99. That is the highest score for a quarterback in this year's draft, and it is higher than the scores that we saw for Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes when they were coming out. And I think that they've proved that they can move around maybe a little bit on the field. So that is something that we will look for him
That helps.
on
That helps. You don't
Thursday.
need it.
does.
And then we'll see who wants that on April 23rd. It's the first day of the draft. Any guesses as to who that might be, Terrell Davis?
Who wants him? Listen, I look at Justin Herbert, and I see a quarterback that's still a little little raw when you watch him. He's 6'6", he's 230-something pounds, big frame, big arm. But you kind of watch him, I think his mechanics are off at times. He throws the ball from different platforms that's not really sound. It's in anticipation. He lacks a little bit of that. So for me, a quarterback like him would go great in an offense or a team that already has a quarterback that maybe have a bridge guy that he can sit behind in, a year or so. And I'm thinking about the Colts in this situation, right?
Okay.
Jacoby Brissett is a quarterback now.